Father God, we just kind of pause today. We have come in from the cold air outside and all the chaos of the day that we dealt with, and we just want to kind of pause and reflect on the fact that we need you in many situations. I think about those that are out there on the street that are keeping us safe while we're in here having this meeting. I pray that you'll be with those first responders and God, just protect them as they do that. I pray for these commissioners tonight as they deal with the agenda and all that they have that they need to talk about and speak about. I think about all these that are here to maybe be able to input their ideas and what needs to happen. I pray that everything is for the betterment of our county. And we thank you, we praise you, and we do this in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let's stand, say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Jeff. Okay, I'll call the February 3rd meeting of the Burleigh County Commission to order. First item is roll call of members.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Here.
Commissioner Munson.
Here.
Commissioner Bakken.
Here.
Commissioner Schwab.
Here.
Chairman Bittner.
Here. Next is approval of the agenda. Commissioner Schwab wanted to pull item 5A off the agenda. They want to do additional work on the utility permit. Other than that, is there any other changes or additions anybody needs to make?
5A or B?
5B.
B. Okay.
5B. Did I say A?
You said A.
No. Okay.
Move to approve without 5B.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, before we get into the discussion about meeting minutes, I did review the bills. I understand there was a concern that with a bill that has now involved the state's attorney for an opinion or her action, so I think that's taken care of. So I would ask for the motion to approve the bills.
So moved.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the bills. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Next is a consent agenda. Anybody want to pull anything off the consent agenda for discussion? Otherwise,
I do.
okay. Commissioner Schwab?
Are we talking about the minutes now?
No,
Okay,
I went right on past that.
okay.
My bust. Let's back up. Okay, consideration of the December 2nd, 4th, 16th, 23rd, 2024 special meeting minutes, January 6th and 15th, 2025 meeting minutes, and January 21st, 2025 special meeting minutes, and January 21st, 2025 meeting minutes and bills. I spent a couple of hours reviewing some of the stuff. I only went back as far as December 2nd. Are you commissioners interested in taking these one at a time? Or?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so for the December 2nd meeting minutes on page 2, towards the bottom of the page, there was a word inserted there before the word comply. It was in the conversation that the state's attorney had, and there's the word fully before comply. In my opinion, the word fully should be removed because comply means you either comply or you don't.
I would make that a motion.
We want to take these
One at a time.
Go
or
ahead
you
and
want-
add any other before we,
I have nothing on the,
Okay.
on that meeting.
nothing on the second?
Nothing
Okay.
on the meeting.
Anything on the second for you?
Nope.
Anything on the second for you? Commissioner Schwab? Anything on the second for your, okay. So you made a motion.
I would move to approve December 2nd, removing the word fully.
F-U-L-L-Y.
Yep.
Okay.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Okay, December 16th. I don't have anything for the 4th.
I move we approve the minutes of December 4th special meeting.
Second?
Motion and a second to approve the December 4th. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woodcock.
can I make a suggestion when they have these meetings like this special meeting, that they put on the top at least what it is? I mean, because when you have to go back through 8 or 10 of them, it's easy to find it. You're talking about Christmas trees, whatever it is. This one doesn't say anything, so you have trouble finding it. That's my own suggestion. And since we're doing that, how about numbering the pages on our packet?
That seems like a reasonable request.
Yes.
Because I did have quite a time with
We
that
did too.
page thing,
Yep.
you know, going back and forth.
When you get a big
and-
packet or a lot of different things,
Right. Hey, do you want to put that in the form of motion, or do
No.
you want to consider that
suggestion,
suggestion? Okay,
consensus, whatever. you want.
Consensus.
Consensus.
Yes.
so the consensus is to start numbering the pages in the meeting agenda.
Yes.
Special meeting,
And,
special meeting is the one I was concerned with.
But I,
and make a
That's
change
right.
to the special meeting header.
Yeah,
including,
to the subject of the meeting. Did we vote on that yet?
No, I'm
Just waiting
just
for
letting them write
consensus.
it down, that's
Oh.
all.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. So for the December 16th meeting minutes, I had on page 1 of those meeting minutes, it says a motion by Commissioner Bakken, second by Commissioner Munson, to table the December 16th meeting minutes. And I think that should have said December 2nd minutes, because we were in the December 16th meeting at the time. And then on page 2, on the second bullet point, remove the words that's used in 2 places, the word only. On the 5th bullet point, remove the word seemingly. The other thing, remove later on in the document in a different paragraph, it also uses the word only at 2 locations.
I'm sorry, Chairman, where's the first only? I'm trying to find it as we go.
Talking about December 16th.
Yes,
Yep.
December 16th.
They don't have any bullet points at all.
second page.
Right.
So where's the first only located?
I can't read that small print, hang on.
Page 2, bullet point 2.
Okay.
Third line, I think, is what it said.
Yeah, right, page 2, the second bullet point is remove the word only in 2 locations. And then on the 5th
next
bullet point, remove the word seemingly. And then further down, I didn't make a note of the actual location, but there's another paragraph that uses the word only twice, and I would remove that word also. That's all I had on the 16th.
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Woodcox.
On the same page, about 2 inches down from the top, it says Auditor Treasurer Flanskowski stated to the Commission that on more than one of the investments made in 2024, both Finance Director and Deputy Finance Director Schmidt agreed with and supported the various investments decisions made by the Auditor Treasurer. To me, that sounds like they approved all of the investment decisions, which is not the case.
Not the case.
Right.
Okay.
I think maybe our finance director is here to want to Want to come up?
You want to weigh in on the 16th meeting minutes?
The part I'm concerned with is that Finance Director Jacobs and Deputy Finance Director Schmidt agreed with and supported the various investment decisions made by the Auditor Treasurer's Office. Is that the case? Did you approve all of the investments?
No.
Okay. So which, did you approve one or two, or,
I'm sure there were a handful, here and there that we said, yeah, that seems like a good idea.
so how do we change that to it? Indicates they approved some but not all, because we make, how many investments we make in a year? 100?
No. No, not.
99? But anyway, you know what my concern is, I just think that phrasing indicates that you approved the investment group and Auditor Sponkowski's investments entirely, and I don't agree with that.
Maybe
Commissioner,
that should just be removed.
You could.
What would the effect be of removing that?
I can ask the auditor, what's your opinion? Do you think that should be removed or changed?
I oversaw the writing of the minutes. It says, Auditor Treasurer Splonskowski stated to the commission that on more than one of the investments made, so that means at least two, investments made in 2024, both Finance Director Jacobs and Deputy Finance Director Schmidt agreed with and supported the various investment decisions made by the Auditor Treasurer's Office. That's the way it was written. It doesn't indicate that there was more than two necessarily. It doesn't say all of them. But if you want to amend it to, so long as it doesn't go against what was actually said.
No, I'm not. I'm just saying that that phrasing indicates to me that you approved, they approved all of the investments, and that's not the case.
So what needs to
That's
be
what I'm
changed?
struggling with. Was that during a meeting, do you think? Was that during an investment meeting?
I think when Commissioner Woodcox heard the whole paragraph read back just now, I do hear what you're saying. I do hear the phrase on one or more, or on more than one, however it was described, occasion, then approved the various investment decisions. It's kind of like we've got two things going on.
At that particular meeting or something?
Yeah, on more than one occasion, the finance director and deputy finance director agreed with the county auditor on an investment decision. That to me is more clear, but.
An investment.
Well, on an investment decision or something to that effect, but it seems like we're mixing up two ideas. We're saying
Right.
one or more, and then we're talking about these various
Various.
decisions. That's where I'm.
Well, various isn't one or more. Various to me means it could be 15 or 20 or whatever. Because this'll be the minutes that we're going to rely upon for a long time, so we want to make sure it's correct in my mind.
Commissioner Schwab?
There's a lot of stuff that's gotta be changed in here. I think this one here, we need to see the changes before we go ahead.
Okay, that's
Good idea.
probably accurate.
But what is our suggestion for that line?
Maybe nobody else agrees with me, but
Oh,
No, I agree with you. I've been trying to find it.
the second paragraph, well, you're looking on the puker.
What page are you on? Never mind, there's no page numbers.
It is the second page on December 16th.
Okay, I'm gonna go on.
It's after all the homestead credits.
Yeah, at the
About
top
three,
of the
about
page
three,
starts the-
four paragraphs.
Be the second bullet point on the top of the second page.
Second bullet point.
Oh, sorry,
No.
third. Third.
Okay. I suppose we could just take out the on more than, say that one or two of the
Yeah, leave it,
investments.
that's a good idea, I think.
Right? Okay. Any other changes recommended to the December 16th meeting minutes? Okay, then I think that, based on the comment from Commissioner Schwab, then we should have those changes made and then come back for
Agree.
approval again. Commissioners, any thoughts on that?
I move we table the approval of the minutes of the December 16th meeting till the next meeting.
Okay.
Second.
Motion and a second to table the 16th to the next meeting. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes,
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. The next is on the December 23rd special meeting. I didn't have anything to add to that. You do? Okay, Commissioner Woodcox.
Okay. Let me get my hard copy here, okay. Down at the bottom, the next to last paragraph, was when we had our state auditor, Josh Gallion,
Yeah.
and he was asked about the audit and everything, and he said the audit was clean. But then I asked the question, and I remember it specifically, that does the audit that we normally get, the regular auditor, does that delve into the investments we make, what interest rates we're getting, the terms, the return on investment, and that does not interfere in there at all, and because the auditor is relying upon a clean audit as one of his bullet points, and he's got a good point there, we got a clean audit. But the auditor, state audit, did not delve into any of our investments, what they were, where they were at, whether there were too many in one bank or too many in another. And I know I specifically asked him that question. He said, no, they do not delve into any investments as to the type and the place they're at and the interest rate. I want that added in.
So Chairman Bittner, if I may?
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. I reviewed the recording of the meeting, as well as our tax director reviewed that meeting, and none of those comments were made at that meeting. You can watch it on Dakota Media
I
Access. if you'd
certainly
like.
will, because
Okay.
he was sitting right there, and I remember asking. Because in fact, I mentioned the fact that you were relying upon a clean audit, which it was clean audit, but they don't delve into the type of investments they do. I'll call the auditor myself.
Well,
But I'll review the meeting.
Yes, please review the meeting and let me know.
Okay,
'cause-
I would entertain a motion to table the 23rd special meeting minutes.
Move the table.
Second.
Motion and a second to table the December 23rd special meeting minutes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
yes,
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, January 6th, regular meeting minutes. On the third page, I made a note here that Commissioner Schwab requested a spreadsheet of investments. And I'm wondering, Commissioner Schwab, did you ever get that spreadsheet of
No.
investments? No?
Mr. Chairman, I had the
Okay.
same exact question. Because
Okay.
we requested a spreadsheet of our investments, which we should have,
That's-
where they're at, how much money how much they're making,
Right.
and the distribution. We should have that.
And we have not
We
received,
have not gotten anything.
okay,
there's another thing before you go too far.
okay.
First paragraph, we took a regular vote and it's not in there.
Okay. Say that again.
First paragraph, who voted for what is not in it.
Are you referring to the vote as far as the chair and?
Yes.
For the chair, it's
Yeah.
not listed as.
It's
to-
missing.
Okay. Okay, so make, Auditor Splonskowski, you make note of that? Okay. Okay, then on the next paragraph, let's see here. next paragraph, where it says, I said that a portion of the sales tax money will be available for the 2025 budget and the full amount of collections for the 2026 budget, and that is not an accurate statement. That is not what I said. The sales tax would be available for consideration during the 2025 budget process, and then that would be what the budget would be for 2026. And so the full amount of the tax collections would be available for the 2027 budget based on the 2026 budget discussions.
Correct.
Okay, so the way it's printed, and that's kind of a long-winded way to say it, but,
Yep.
because that is certainly not what I said.
I can review that statement and submit this back to you if you'd like.
Okay.
I would table January 6th until adjustments can be made and brought back to the commission,
Second.
I have a motion and a second to table the January 6th
unless there's not
commission.
any more.
Nope, that was the last,
Okay.
last issue I had. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes?
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. So we're tabling. Okay, the next is January 15th, special meeting. It says meeting minutes, but I have that as a special meeting in my records. I didn't have any problem with that one. Anybody have any concerns with that one? Seeing none, I'll consider a motion to approve the January 15th special meeting minutes.
Move to approve.
Second?
Motion and a second to approve the January 15th special meeting minutes. Any further discussion? Call the roll.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes?
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, January 21st, meeting minutes. On the fourth line of the first page, it says motion by Commissioner Bakken, second by Commissioner Woodcox to table the December 23rd, 2024 meeting minutes until the next commission meeting on March 3rd, 2025.
Ooh.
I would say remove the word March and put in February 3rd.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, on page 2 of those meeting minutes. This is just kind of a cleanup issue right here. In County Engineer Hall's section there, one paragraph starts out, Hall presented a resolution to authorize the advertising bids. In the next paragraph, it says, Hall presented another resolution to authorize. I would suggest removing the word another and just put a in there. And then the next line, the same thing, where it says another resolution, just put a resolution. I don't think that, I don't see a need for that going on there. And then on page 3, in Sheriff Lieben's section, what would be it's the first paragraph on 3, 7 lines down. Lieben lastly informed the commission that a governance board meeting is coming up. I don't think we need the word lastly in there. So I would remove that word. And then the next is the state's attorney lawyer, where it says here that she said that there were no Hatch Act violations. And I'm not sure that I recall that from the meeting. I don't think there was a determination necessarily that there was violations or not. I think my understanding of that was that, since it was a nonpartisan election, that they weren't gonna look into that any further. Is that?
That it was not a Hatch Act violation because it was a nonpartisan.
Yep.
Because the Hatch Act concerns itself with bipartisan. So
Okay.
that is accurate.
Okay. Okay, that's all I had on that.
Chair.
Commissioner Munson?
If we're removing another and putting in A, then I would say the same. The second paragraph for state's attorney lawyer, then presented, I would just remove then.
Okay. Okay, any other changes or clarification on that one?
I move we approve, subject to those minor changes.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve with those changes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes,
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. And then I think that we're probably going to want to see those.
Tabled ones in our packet.
Yeah.
Yep.
The tabled ones, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I think I'll have you forward the corrected meeting minutes to me for review after you make the changes. Okay.
So it's the 16th, 23rd, and January 6th
Correct.
Yes,
that were tabled.
yes. Okay, and then I think that gets us to the end of that agenda item, right? Okay. Next is the consent agenda.
I would move to approve minus item B.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve minus the pulled item 5B. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
yes,
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Next is County Extension Agent Kelsey Deckert, position refill request. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman Bittner and Commissioners. Thank you for letting us have a few minutes of your time. Neither one of us is Kelsey Deckert.
Oh.
She's the extension agent that reserved our time slot on your agenda.
Is there a sign-in sheet on the?
Yes. We'll do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Just for the minutes and
That's
state
fine.
your name
Yeah,
for
I
the
So-
record, too.
think the reason that we're starting this sign-in sheet is just so we get your names correct for the meeting minutes.
Commissioner Schwab can tell you all about us, right? He's our portfolio holder, and so he's familiar with us. But my name is Dina Kemet, and I'm the Central District Director for NDSU Extension. Okay, and with me is Annette Broyles. She's the
There you
4-H agent. I'm trying not to squish her out, but I'm going to let her speak first, and then I'll follow up.
Hi, I'm Commissioner Bittner and Commissioners. Okay, I'm Annette Broyles. My current position is the 4-H Youth Development Agent in Burleigh County. I've been here a little over 3 years, and I have decided that I'm going to retire from my position. I do want to mention a little bit about what has been done in the last 3 years that I've been there. We've increased enrollment by over 100 4-H members, and when I talk about numbers, it is our Clover Buds, which are our 5 through 7-year-olds, our members, which are 8 to 18-year-olds, and our volunteers. And we do really get a lot of return on our investment with our volunteers. Right now, we have 47 registered, and they spend, close to 9 hours a month. So we really do get some work out of them. Currently, there are 21 clubs. We have added 2 horse clubs, which has brought horse back to Burleigh County. For a while there, it was kind of a forgotten entity. We also have 3 brand-new other clubs that are been started since I've been there. We've got new workshops involving livestock, STEM projects, along with Gateway to Science. I'm holding a multi-project day, which is a new activity for us. It'll be 13 different topics, 29 sessions on March 8th. If we have any volunteers, I still am in need of those. We've increased participation in our contests. We've had a variety of contests, and to me, Contest is where people gain their confidence by talking in front of people, like communication arts or putting a project together for Project Expo. We've had one member attend a national conference in Washington, D.C., and we just had a gal come back from the National Hippology Contest with her equine public speaking. She got grand champion or the champion there, so she's the champion nationally, and that was just in January in Denver. Ambassador program is for our older youth. We've increased from not having a program when I got there to we now have 8 members. 3 of those members stood in front of the legislature just last month to talk in extensions benefits. We do a lot of service learning projects, from bell ringers to making cards for assistant living nursing homes for the veterans and so on. Had a lot of partners in the last years. Again, the 4-H is a little easier to track because I know the numbers, I know who's involved in that, but I do work with all youth in Burleigh County. So we've partnered with the public library, we have partnered with Parks and Recs, Teddy Roosevelt Days, Gateway to Science, we did Halloween at the Governor's Mansion. So we do get around to a lot of different activities, and I really felt that there was a nice variety of items that I was able to be involved in. All the things that I learned in 4-H taught me these life skills for me to go use in my life and my career, and I'm hoping that as I continue my life that I will still continue to use them. Having a youth development agent can ensure that 4-H Burleigh County 4-H will continue to provide programming for our youth and develop our future leaders, and someday maybe they might sit in your chairs.
Thanks, Annette. I saw the note, now I'll follow the directions. So I'd like to publicly, and especially to you commissioners, commend Annette for the hard work that she's put in the past 3 years working in Burleigh County with 4-H. As you can see, you have a very robust 4-H program. It's thriving, growing, and I am here to get your blessing to continue that trend by asking for your permission in the form of a motion to move forward with refilling the position. I have a couple handouts. If anybody here is interested, I'm not going to force you to take my propaganda, but I have, and I'll set it on the end and let you pass it, because if I step away, you won't be able to hear me. So what I have within this packet is a little information about NDSU Extension, who we are and what we do. You all have seen this before, because this is not my first time to visit you. Inside there, you'll find a specific infographic or information sheet on the specific duties and the highlights of the 4-H program in general. It's just so you know, if someone questions you, like why would we support the 4-H agent in the county extension office, it gives you a little meat, okay? The other thing I just include for your use is a copy of our NDSU extension map by district, so you can see who the different county commissions work with in my position. And then third and finally, I have a copy of the base policy, which is our financial partnership and how we fund extension agent positions. I believe that if you attend your North Dakota Association of Counties meeting, you've had discussion on that. It actually was just recently reviewed and recommended to go forward with this again it's dated 2025. So just a couple weeks ago, that was voted on and reviewed. If you have questions about the funding model that we use to pay extension agents, I would certainly entertain those questions at this time.
Commissioners, any questions?
If there are no questions, I would ask you to give me some formal direction and allow me to move forward with filling the position.
I move to give the lady what she wants.
Can
Second.
we write that down?
Can I ask for more?
No.
No.
Too late.
And
Motion's
congratulations,
made.
you did a good job out there.
Yes, congratulations.
Yeah, and congratulations on your retirement. Best wishes. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much, and I'll be in direct contact with Commissioner Schwab as he's the portfolio holder, so we'll keep you in the loop with the interview process, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. County Planner Flanagan, RRH subdivision update. Welcome, Mitch.
Good evening, Commissioners, Mr. Chair. I'm here to discuss the RRH subdivision as it was tabled for tonight. I did send you today by email some packet information regarding the two questions at the 21st meeting, January 21st. Specifically, is the containment of the oil and gasoline from the proposed travel stop a part of the consideration for the approval of the stormwater management plan? In the letter from Casey, it was not a part of his stormwater management plan, but it is part of the DEQ regulations as to enforce the MS4 program. Even though the Sterling area, that gas station, proposed gas station, was not included in the MS4, they the designers opted to go follow those MS4 guidelines. It's further statement that the catch base, or not catch basin, but the manhole cover is on the concrete next to the pumps. That has a sump in each one of them, and the water is designed to go to those manhole covers and down to the bottom of the sumps. And that's basically the containment of those contaminants. The second question was whether or not the DEQ was going to provide or make them provide vehicle and pedestrian protection around that lagoon. Elizabeth Tokash replied by email saying that they don't directly take into account car or pedestrian safety, but they are going to require a fence that would surround the lagoon. The other point of approval of this is at the January 8th Planning and Zoning meeting, it was recommended to hold approval based on the DEQ approval of their lagoon permit. We haven't received that yet, so I would ask that you recommend approval for of the plat by consent agenda, so I won't need to walk you guys through this again. So that's the only thing that's holding it up. We did get the answers for those two questions.
Yep.
And the only thing we're waiting now is for that DEQ permit.
Right. Okay, Commissioners, the questions that I had were answered, and I'm satisfied with the answers. And I just wanted to point out that they weren't required to do some of these things, but they're doing it anyway, which is a good thing to protect the oil and gas from the runoff and whatnot. But I would entertain a motion to approve subject to the DEQ permit.
Move to approve subject to the DEQ permit.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Chairman Bitter?
Yes, motion carries. Next, County Engineer Hall, got a couple items, authorization to advertise for bids for the bridge, 08-126-40, and then authorize county to enter in a contract for bridge 08-126-40. Welcome, Marcus.
Good evening, Commissioners. The first item I have on the agenda is an item that we didn't think we'd have until sometime the end of, ready for you until the end of March, first part of April. And so we're really excited to move this one forward. This is the actual construction of the bridge project that we've been talking about the last few weeks. We were able to get the plans done and the permits obtained for this particular project. So now we're ready to go forward with letting of this particular project. So this resolution just authorizes the county auditor and county engineer to advertise for bids for the replacement of this particular bridge.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion and second to approve.
Mr. Chairman,
Bridge,
do
Commissioner
you have an
Woodcock.
engineer's estimate?
Not at this time. So.
So are we
Further
talking, I hate to approve something, we don't know how much it's gonna cost us. This is all Burleigh County money, right? It's all Burleigh County money.
Yes, Commissioner,
No
this is,
cooperative, anybody, state or
that's
fed?
correct. Yep.
I think that in the event there was some kind of problem with the price, that would still come before the board.
Commissioners, when we let this
For
particular
bids,
project,
yeah.
all that will come back before the
Yep.
board for your approval. So,
Okay.
And that time, we will present the engineer's estimate,
Sure.
so.
Call the roll.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries.
The next item I have is the actual, as we talked about this particular bridge, we wanted to move forward with obtaining the culverts and getting in line to get those done in time. So we did go ahead and bid those culverts. We did get one bid from Rinker Materials. This is the plant out by Minokan there that will be doing this particular project. We got a good number for that, the culverts. We were really pretty happy with that. They're presented in the board letter. There is a proposed resolution. I'd recommend approval.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to approve bids for the culverts. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Anything else?
Commissioners, there was one other item that a contractor approached Commissioner Bittner, and also we've had several contractors approach us in the Highway Department. I don't know if you want to deal with that at this time, or would you rather wait until other business?
I'd really like to put it under other business.
Okay.
Thanks for the reminder on that.
We'll address it at that time then, so,
Okay.
thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Marcus, for the reminder. Okay, the next item is consideration of a resolution changing county auditor treasurer from an elected to an appointed position. I think state's attorney lawyer is going to take over on that.
So Commissioners, this was tabled from last time because I had gotten you that preliminary resolution the afternoon of the meeting. So you wanted more time to review that and take a look at it. And in the meantime, I did double check the date that I had in there as to when the auditor treasurer position was combined into one, and it was effective May of 2003. I know we've talked in the past about it being longer ago than that, but that's officially when it was, and I did verify that. So the information in that preliminary resolution is correct, so I'm just here to answer any questions that may have come up after you reviewed it.
Commissioners, any questions after review? No? Yeah, I don't see any questions. What's the next path?
So you can discuss that today, and if you want to move forward with that, you can call for a vote regarding whether you want to pass that preliminary resolution or not. The steps would be then, if it is passed, that it's printed in the newspaper 2 different weeks in the next 30 days, and then you call for public hearings. And at that point, you would take any public input on that plan and that resolution.
So is there anything in the Century Code about how many meetings or
No.
for public hearing, right? I
Yep.
mean,
It just says that public hearings or town hall meetings or things like that to disseminate information and take public input need to be held. There isn't a requirement for how many there are. There isn't a requirement for how long they are or anything regarding them, just that they need to be done. So that's why I suggest you have plenty,
Sure.
which isn't a very good answer, but at least that'll give people. And then my other suggestion too is not just have them during the regular commission meeting. I mean, there may be people that can't come on a Monday night between 5 and 7 p.m. So I would suggest that you have them at various times and various days of the week to encourage more people to be able to come.
Okay, I think that's a good idea. Commissioner Bakken?
Julie, so walking through the process, just for clarity for those that may be listening at home, then that would be public input, and then via the home rule charter, we would have the ability to put that on a special election, or what does that look
No.
like?
So there were some questions regarding the home rule charter and how it changed the last time with the sales tax. When we initially did the home rule charter for the initial sales tax to pay for the jail, the home rule charter laws require that there is a provision in a home rule charter putting down the status of the elected positions, whether they're going to stay elected, whether they're going to be appointed, how that works. And so in our original charter, we had that all of those positions would remain elected. So in 2020, history of the home rule charter, there was a request to make the treasurer and the auditor appointed. Back then, In 2020, Kevin Glott, our longtime auditor treasurer, had retired. We had an unserved term of 2 years that was up for election in 2020. This was discussed leading up to like January through March of 2020 to modify the home rule charter to make those two positions, recorder and auditor treasurer, to be appointed positions. At that point in March, when that was approved to go to the voters, no one had declared a candidacy for auditor treasurer. And again, we had talked too back then about the fact that there aren't any qualifications that anybody needs to have those positions other than be an elector, which is 18 and a resident of the county. And so, so there was that home rule charter that was proposed in 2020 that went to the voters and was defeated at that time. So then in 2020, is it two? When do we do the home rule charter again? I want to say 22.
Yep.
So that was to change the sales tax so that it would go up to a 1% and it would continue past that sunset clause. And then one of the other things discussed was changing those positions. You're shaking your head no. Am I missing something?
Yep.
Sorry,
That
go
would
ahead.
have been the opportunity for the Burleigh County Commission to create ordinances in 22.
Oh, okay. Yes, thank you.
Yep.
2024 is when we did the sales tax, right?
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep.
So in 2022, there was that provision added to include ordinance making authority. And then in 2024, we changed it to include the 1% sales tax. And then in 2024, again, it came up to look at what we were going to do with those positions, whether we should make those appointed under. Was that in 22?
Yep.
One of those times, sorry. We talked about changing those to appointed. And one of the things that came up was that if you were looking, what was your real goal with the home rule charter? And if you wanted that ordinance authority, you didn't want to put or change a lot of different things in there because then your real purpose for it would get lost in the weeds. People might not approve it for what you really wanted to make those modifications for because they didn't like the secondary part of it. And so what was decided then was the home rule charter, the way it was written, making it appointed or elected, actually took away some statutory authority, basically, of the commission. If we didn't have a home rule charter, this law is in effect where the commission can go through this procedure that we were talking about going through, the preliminary resolution, the public hearings, the final resolution. And so instead of changing those positions to, say, elected or appointed and then having to change the home rule charter again, we added that provision in that the statute would apply as well, and we weren't taking any statutory authority away from the commission to follow that path to modify it instead of having to modify the home rule charter again. So that was added in 2024, I want to say, with the sales tax. 2022? Okay, thank you. And so
Only
that's
because
why
I
it's
ran
there.
the 24
Okay.
home rule charter, so
And so, so that was just added again because there was that consensus that we shouldn't take away any statutory authority. And so, so that's the process. The process is that a preliminary resolution is considered by the commission. If that's passed, then public hearings, town hall meetings, however you want to get information out and take information in. Those are the purpose of those meetings. Those must be held, and then you can discuss whether or not you want to adopt a final resolution. And if a final resolution is adopted, then again, that would take effect with the effect date of after the current term is over, which is April 1, 2027. And then if the public, and again, you're going to get public input throughout this whole process to see whether or not you even want to do a final resolution. If you do end up with a final resolution, the public does have the option, if you're going against their wishes, to file a petition and then have that on the ballot. If there is no petition, then it takes effect.
That's down the road. Commissioner Munson?
one clarifying question. So we have to publicize in the newspaper twice or two times in the next 30 days.
Yeah,
Then
and the
we can
easiest
have-
way is once a week
Yep.
for 2 weeks.
Then we can have public hearing.
Correct.
Okay.
That way the people have the plan, the resolution, everything is out there for, it should be on the website too. I think it might already be on the website. Because it was, I don't think we put it in this packet, but it's there if people want it. The auditor's office has it too. And then again, that way it's out in the public. People can see exactly what everything is. That way, that helps with the public hearings as well. When people have had a chance to review it and read it and then come discuss it.
Julie, when you talk about public hearings, do they necessarily have to be a commission meeting?
No, it can be a
Or
separate
can one
hearing.
commission go out, say, to one commissioner go out to, say, Wing or Sterling?
You can certainly do that.
And they're to take input on it?
You can certainly do that and get information from your constituents, but that's not what the public hearing encompasses. The public hearing is when there is, the board is here, or at least a quorum of the board is here, and there's a record of it, and people can come and do that. But you can certainly go out and talk to people, kind of grassroots style, like you're saying, but that would not count as a public hearing.
You know, I would strongly recommend that the public hearing be held in conjunction with a regular county commission meeting. So, because we have all the ability to record and to, you know, take comments and whatnot. Commissioner Bakken?
I would add that some public hearings need to be outside of the scope of this time.
I
So
think
some
that's-
special
yeah.
meetings as well. Just, Julie's right, not everybody can attend this, so being able to get as much input as possible is beneficial.
Absolutely. I see nothing wrong with that. I just wanted to make sure that at least one of those.
Will be official meeting.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
And
because
then
I think the citizens
'Cause
are
we
gonna
can
wanna
call
be
some-
heard.
Yeah, we
you
can
know.
call some special meetings just for the input.
And then
Okay,
I would
that's an option.
I would recommend too, some way for the public to submit any written comments if they can't make it to a meeting and they do want like official comments as part of the public meeting to be held. You might want to consider doing that and how you want to go about doing that. So that can be part of the record as well.
I would have a suggestion on that. I think we could set up a specific email address. I know Mary's not here tonight, right?
No, she's ill.
Feeling ill. But I'm sure that we could set up a specific address for that sort of comments, positive or negative or whatever. You know.
Just a Dropbox or.
I'll discuss that with Mary, and I think we'll just, assuming, you know, depending on what we do here, I guess, but I'll talk that over with Mary. Commissioner Schwab?
How do we make sure that if we take emails that they're coming from people in Burleigh County?
Okay, that's a good point.
You know, they're gonna have to put their names on it and addresses. So
Part of
we
that
can-
would be, just be a sign-up form, so it's name, address.
Yeah.
Contact information, email, that's all part of a.
Form.
Just a boilerplate sign-in form to be able to submit.
Yep.
And that can be done online as well,
Yes.
right? I'll discuss that with Mary, and we'll have the IT folks work on that. Anything else?
No, that's all I had, unless you had any questions for me.
No, I just want to reiterate that this is only consideration of a preliminary resolution. There's going to be a lot of, as much as possible, public hearings and public meetings before we get to a decision on a final resolution. That's in summary.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, commissioners, what are your wishes?
Well, I am always in favor of getting input from constituents, and any opportunity to gather information from them, I'm in favor of. So I would make a motion to do this just from an input perspective, and we'll see what the wishes of the county are.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to see
We're
what wishes.
approving this preliminary resolution, that's the intent, right?
Right.
So we can get input from
Residents.
the residents.
Commissioner
Chair.
Munson?
Commissioner Bakken, I'm wondering if you would amend that to at least direct the auditor to publicize it in the Tribune the next 2 weeks in a row?
That's
So
part of the resolution.
That's
That's
just
part
all
of the-
part of the
yeah.
resolution? Okay.
Yeah. Is there a provision to put that on our county website as well?
No, because I think when the law was written, whoops, Let me turn the microphone on. No, there's nothing in the law that says to put it on the county website, but I would suggest that you do, just to make it accessible, but it's not required.
I would add that too, and then possibly reach out to Dakota Media Access and coordinate with them as well, just so we get the word out. Because again, there's nothing as important as getting input from the voters.
Okay. Motion and second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes. Motion carries. We'll get public input. Okay. Next item, County Finance Director Jacobs, vendor onboarding policies, and the word that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. Chair and Commissioners, yeah, that was a typo in my email to the
Okay,
auditor.
what should it
so-
say? Policies and procedures?
And procedures.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I'll be brief here. The topic is vendor onboarding policies. So when you get a new vendor, how do you handle that? And so we do have procedures. We do have, I think, some policies. We're going to put them together perhaps in a more comprehensive manner and just try to smooth the work out of this process throughout the year. This came up during 1099s this year. We send them out in January, and we realized that if we were doing a little things differently with these vendors as we bring them on board, it would make the 1099 process easier. But the question I have for the commission is this. We are, part of this process would be like an approved vendor list, which we did have at one point in time, as I understand, and it may have gotten away from us within the last 5 or so years. So my question is, if we were to put together a list of vendors that we've used maybe in the last 5 or 10 years and divide them up by portfolio holder, is that something that you as portfolio holders would be interested in, going over and reviewing, maybe even approving?
Well, I'm not seeing any harm in that.
No, I think that's
Well,
Yeah,
Mr. Chairman,
Commissioner Woodcock?
if you provide us with a list of vendors, how easy is it for a new one to come in and get on that list? Because otherwise, we'll be picking off of that list primarily, I would think. So if we have another electrician come in and we've only got one on list, how are we gonna handle that?
I think, so the vendor coming on would be the onboarding part of it. And as it sits, I suppose if it's a big enough project, they would put out bids and that's how they would come to the surface. But it may just be a department head, call somebody if it's a small project. And so that's part of the process, is coming up with a consistent, fair way of onboarding people, vendors, to make sure that they're not, maybe like the federal debarred vendor book's a good example. It's like this thick. Just making sure that people are someone we want to do business with. And most are. And then just being consistent. Did we get a TIN number from them? That's what one of the issues we're having with 1099s. It'd just be a checklist. Did we request a W, I think 9 from them, and all that type of stuff that you do. So it's not happening at the end of the year when we're receiving taxes and now we got to get our 1099s out the door January 31st.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Lee. We did have discussions about this and the difficulty with doing 1099s with all the other stuff going on in the office and then chasing around looking for it. Like you said, the TIN, that's taxpayer identification number. Used to be employer ID number. You probably remember that.
Even as simple as making sure we have their insurance on file.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's a great procedure to go through.
Right. So did you need are you asking for a motion or are you just wanting to?
I guess I was maybe looking for some consensus, if
Yeah.
or so that you would be expecting a list from us in the coming weeks as individually.
That makes sense to me, Commissioners.
Yep.
The discussions I've had with him about this subject, I think it would improve efficiency and whatnot for the county, so. Unless anybody has an issue with it, we'll consider that the consensus, move forward with that.
Okay.
Thank you, Lee. State's Attorney Lawyer, Victim Witness Program Grant Funds update. Welcome again.
Thank you.
Missed you.
So as you all may have heard, on Monday, January 27th, I believe it was, there was an order from the White House freezing all federal funding. That included any federal grants. By Tuesday, a lawsuit had been filed, and then there was a preliminary injunction on that. But on Wednesday, the 29th, we received a letter from DOCR, who is the grantee. We're a sub-grantee off of that grant. And we were told that all of the federal money would be not being paid out until this was all settled. About an hour after I requested this be put on the agenda, then the White House issued an order rescinding that order freezing federal funding. And today there was a hearing in that federal case filed by nonprofits, basically extending that stay of the president's order. So as you all know, we get VOCA funding for our victim witness program. As I reported, we got approximately 100 and some thousand, like 101,000, something like that, from the feds. And then the state was able to come up with about 59,000 to make it 161,000 total that we were getting through grant funding. This freeze doesn't affect the state funding that we were getting to the tune of 59,000, but until this gets settled or until DOCR receives the funding from the feds to distribute to the sub-grantees, there may be a pause in that. So I just wanted you to be aware of that, how that affects the funding that we're getting through that VOCA grant.
Commissioner Bachman.
Julie, so is there, if we're utilizing the state funding, is there a little bit of a cushion in there? Because the one thing, I know how backed up your department is, and I would hate to see a pause in cases because of this. Do we have some wiggle room?
This doesn't affect how we're going to run things. What happens is the county expends the money, and then we get reimbursed from that grant funding program.
So the caseload, it
no,
won't really affect
it's
it.
not going to affect how we do business. I just wanted you, from your budget perspective, to know where that grant fund was sitting.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Schwab.
It was kind of my understanding that there were some illegal aliens picked up in Bismarck.
That would be a good question for Sheriff Lieben because it involved the sheriff's deputies.
Well, no, the reason I'm
Yes.
bringing that up is if we put them under arrest, does the government now pay for that?
So it depends on what they're arrested for. If they committed a crime and we arrested them and we're prosecuting them in district court, then the county is the one. We don't bill anybody out for them sitting in jail to do that. But if I think in this case what happened was it was a traffic stop. They were identified as being illegal immigrants to the United States, and so the feds put a hold on them for an immigration deportation, and so then the feds pay for that.
Okay.
So ICE picks that up.
Correct.
So no action required on that then?
No, just general information as to how that affected us.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that. Auditor Treasurer Splonskowski, request for calling of public hearing regarding Special Assessment District 76 Faulkner Estates subdivision.
Good evening, Commissioners, Chairman and Commissioners. So, yes, SAD 76 has been completed. Highway Department went out there, did all the requested work. The Special Assessments Commission, we had our meeting and then our special hearing, our public hearing process. Nobody showed up with any concerns or comments, anything like that. Now the next process is for the commission to approve having a public hearing, which could potentially be at the next meeting for anybody to have a more open opportunity to receive any or give any feedback, whether it's good, bad, or neutral. So yeah, this is just the next step in the process.
Commissioners, I would entertain a motion to schedule a public hearing.
One quick
Commissioner
question,
Bachman.
just for, do we send out notifications for that, or?
What we have to do
For
is we
those
have to
within the
publish it
district?
once in the newspaper, once for 2 weeks.
Okay, and what's the scope of that district? What are the boundaries of that district? Just,
Uh,
this is
the-
a good forum for people to get that information.
Yes, it's really just one street on Sully Drive in Falconer Estates. It probably encompasses about 12 properties.
Okay, thank you. Move to approve.
Second.
Okay, motion to approve the request for a public hearing. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox?
Yes.
Commissioner Munson?
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken?
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab?
Yes.
Chairman Bittner?
Yes, motion carries. Okay, we're up to other business. Marcus, if you want to come up. I had gotten a contact from a contractor that was looking to put together a bid on a project on 80th and Apple Creek Road. You want me to just give the summary as long as it?
Yeah, the project
okay.
is on 80th and Highway 10 there.
I'm sorry, yep, 80th and Highway 10. One of the comments was, they were being very clear that the gravel suppliers are notifying the contractors that Highway 10 has an 80,000 pound weight limit on it. You remember there's conversations about load limits, right? Okay, well, it sounds like that could cost the county on that project someplace between
20 to 30,000.
20 to 30,000 more on the project just because of the lighter loads. So you take it away, Marcus.
Yeah, that's correct. We did check with some other contractors just to get a feeling for that dollar. It is between 20 and 30,000 basically to haul the lighter loads at that location. So the question came up is, would we willing to waive that in this particular situation and allow 105.5 to run on that location? So being the highway department and need as much money as we can, anytime we can save money, we're looking to do that, and we'd be glad to take the 20 to 30,000 savings. However, what we would do if the board approved that kind of change in the plans or change in that particular project is we'd push out an addendum to the plan holder so everybody would be dealing with the same kind of information. The concern I have on the downside is other contractors, other projects that pop up in that area, they're going to be asking the same question. And already they have been, once I started to talk to other contractors about the costs associated with this, and they said, well, what about this project? Can we get something on that too? And so I said, right now, we're just looking at this particular project. So I wanted to bring this to the board. Commissioner Bittner and I wanted to bring it to the board, get your thoughts on that, and then get some direction if you want us to push an addendum to allow the 105.5 on this particular project.
Commissioner Schwab.
This is just for one project?
That is all I'm recommending at this time is the one project, unless the board wants to change the
Well,
low limit on that particular
One
road.
person sees it, there's gonna be more people. And before we fixed that road, we spent, what, 180,000?
Yes, it was
And they'll
right in
pound
that
the
range.
hell out of it again, and we gotta, it's cheaper to pay the fine than to take a chance of a busted road again, which we probably have.
Commissioner Bachman.
I've got a hard time when government picking winners and losers, and this is a case where it's in the benefit of our county taxpayers, but kind of hanging out other contractors and other projects that creates a little bit of a conundrum, and I don't know if I would be supportive of us getting special dispensation at the expense of other projects and other contractors.
Mr. Chair. Commissioner Munson.
I would be more concerned that the 20,000 we're saving today is gonna cost us more
later.
to fix it later.
Yeah.
So I would not also be in favor of doing that, and I also think it sets a pretty bad precedent that we're gonna give
It
ourselves
does.
preferential treatment.
Yeah, we should not be picking winners and losers.
No.
Do you need a motion?
Just direction as far as moving forward with an addendum or not.
Well, I'm gonna, do you want a motion?
Sure.
Motion that we leave the load limits on that stretch.
The way they are.
Yep.
Okay.
Second.
Okay, you have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, call the roll.
Commissioner Woodcox.
Yes.
Commissioner Munson.
Yes.
Commissioner Bakken.
Yes.
Commissioner Schwab.
Yes.
Chairman Bittner.
Yes, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus. So we know the answer to that. Okay, any other business for the good of Burleigh County? Commissioner
just-
Bakken.
And Kelly, I don't know if you can speak on this, but it was broached at this meeting concerning the detention of some illegal immigration violators by Burleigh County. What are you seeing out there? Or is there any information you can lend us, or you feel comfortable on the record that's not overstepping some bounds?
Sure, no problem, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. To give you a little history, I was contacted about 2 weeks ago by an Associated Press reporter from the local area with questions about, what this is going to look like, mass deportation, Trump's order as they move forward. And the first thing I said to the reporter was, we've been here before. And I think that's important to keep in perspective. What's happening across the United States, and now we're seeing it locally and in the state of North Dakota, is not new. We've dealt with illegal immigration over the years, and depending on the administration in the White House, that dictates the federal policy, obviously. If you remember back, and I can't remember the date, we had the Walmart South being built in Bismarck, and there was a rape of a local girl in Bismarck by illegal immigrants that were working on that project, if my memory is correct. And at that time, the administration wasn't in favor of deportation, and so there was a lot of public pressure at that time. So basically what I did is I explained to this AP reporter, coming back full circle, that this is how it will more than likely play out in our jurisdiction. And ironically, it was exactly how I described what happened the other day, last week, Wednesday. A deputy made a traffic stop on a car for a registration violation. The occupants of the car were identified. It became obvious that they were in the country illegally. A call was made to Border Patrol. Border Patrol interviewed the subjects in the vehicle and advised our deputy to take them all into custody. We weren't aware the one was a Venezuelan gang member. That became public on Friday through Customs and Border Patrol doing a press release or a Facebook post on that. So what obviously we, are aware, as most people feel, there's probably a lot of illegal immigrants in the state and across the United States. To say for sure, we don't have that data, but we're aware of the big problem that has happened over the last few years. And so I don't anticipate any big raids in North Dakota or Burleigh County, but what we do anticipate is exactly what just happened last week. You're going to see encounters. They're going to be determined to be illegal aliens, and from there, Customs and Border Patrol will make the decision. To kind of get back to Commissioner Schwab's question real quick on, the cost, what I can say is historically, and again this last week, when Customs and Border Patrol says to take them into custody, their response to come get them is very quick. So we incur very little cost in that ordeal. One other thing, and then I know you have another question, Commissioner Bakken. We were approached prior to the presidential election about our willingness to enter into a contract with Immigration, Custom, and Enforcement, and we said we would entertain that idea. I was just notified today they will be doing a preliminary meet with us to further that negotiation because there's another agency that's going to be in need of bed space.
Commissioner Bakken.
Do we have any further concerns as far as somebody who's here illegally that know that they're going to be busted given the what's going on the federal level? Do we have any extra concerns as far as backup for officers and making sure that everybody's covered?
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I mean, there's always a concern, and that was one of the
Is
things.
it exacerbated now, though? Are there any concerns there?
I don't think so. I think, one of the things I said on my personal Facebook page was I was glad everybody was safe after that incident. Obviously, a very high-profile arrest. Like a lot of our arrests, you don't know who you're encountering. It's important, that's where the training, the equipment, everything comes into play. So I was very proud of our deputies for conducting that in a manner nobody got hurt. Even once those individuals were placed in the jail, the detention staff performed very well, so nobody got hurt. We had a meeting on Friday, I believe it was, with Congresswoman Julie Fedorchak, and this topic came up before we knew this was a gang member, and there was questions on how will this play out, and I think there'll be some voluntary deportation. I think obviously as more and more of the illegal alien situation, people realize the pressure is on. You're going to see some that are going to start leaving, going other areas. So I think that'll take care of some of it. We don't anticipate, you always worry about the safety of the staff. I mean, always. But I think they'll do their job, and I don't anticipate, as the pressure builds, anything. One thing I would like to add, though, is, unfortunately, I'm hearing reports of the public where, people are being confronted, and I don't know if it's true or not. But, that's one of the things when I talked to the Associated Press about this, and it was in an informal conversation. I hope people maintain respect and dignity, because obviously there's a lot of people in this country that are here legally. And so I hope on both sides of this, we've got an illegal immigration problem, but we still have to be respectful and dignified to everybody. And there's a process for handling this.
One other question. As far as interagency cooperation, I know with Border Patrol, are we seeing a better relationship now? Or have we always had a really good relationship with them? And other agencies,
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, I always say, I don't care what level it's at, the troops on the ground work well together.
Great.
So if there's conflict, it's usually at the higher levels. We always have a good relationship with our federal partners. Most of them are North Dakota people that joined the federal system and came back here because not a lot of people want to be stationed here. So we always have a good relationship with them.
Well, thank you for the diligence in the officers. So.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Sheriff. Any other business for the good of Burleigh County? Seeing none, we're adjourned.
Yes.
What?
Want to remind everybody.
Some guy wanted to say something there with you.
Want to remind everyone there's a $500 tax credit, and it's due, I believe,
End of March.
March 31st.
March 31st.
And you can go to the Burleigh County website and sign up, save some money on your taxes, property tax.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.